got wrong?
Most of it.
Cool.
Yeah. No, I thought it was, yeah. Yeah, I thought it was good.
I showed you, like, the film was pretty much finished except for the animation when I found out Tim was recording a new album. And so we went to Chattanooga, Jen Talbert and I, and showed Tim the rough cut minus the animation and minus that ending where he's recording the album. And I think you only found 3 things that I had to fix. I can only remember what 2 of them were. One was got the date of the news story wrong, and Igor had said that the eyes were Tammy Wynette.
Oh yeah, Tanya Tucker. Yeah.
So we fixed those 2 things. I forget what the third was, but so that was pretty easy. Yeah. The previous film, a previous documentary I made, I asked. It was about a band, and I asked them at the premiere, like, you know, did we get anything wrong? And it turned into a band argument. Like they they all like didn't agree with each other, and I just kind of stepped back and let them argue in front of an audience. Any questions?
Wow, I'm so excited. I came in when it was dark, so I didn't know about the special guest. I'm really excited. So I didn't start performing what I call absurdist vaudeville in 2006, and by that time, everyone had a video camera on their phone. Can y'all please talk about the frustrations involved in trying to find photographs and archival footage and what have you for what is essentially a live art form, and how you already addressed the animations, which were brilliant. So what were some of your other workarounds?
Well, I mean, Tim had a great archive that we sat in his dining room and with a scanner one day and just scanned everything. A lot of other people kept things, which I was so thankful for. The parade footage was considered lost for years, and then Fletcher Hayes said, I found it. And I was like, well, can I have it? He's like, let me get it digitized and I'll send it to you.
Looked like your brother had a few things too.
Oh yeah, he saved. People saved. Yeah, they saved probably more stuff than I did, but I had a ton of stuff.
And then there was also the problem of making a documentary about a musician where there was no existing footage of him performing. So
yeah, that was a problem.
Yeah, and for the longest time I was like, how are we going to get around that? And then the idea was, well, we'll get an actor to play him, but you know, we didn't really want to just show an actor. I thought that would be kind of cheesy, but it was like, the idea was we'll shoot an actor pretending to be Fred Lane, and then we'll just recreate each one of those shots frame by frame as rotoscoped animation. So all those times you see a little animated Fred Lane, that's actually a guy named George Peters that we painstakingly reproduced each shot.
Yeah, I'm kind of like a 1930s rotoscope anyway.
Yeah.
That kind of, I'm sorry. That sort of absurdist art, the Rautalunas and you, would you say that's like largely only possible in the Deep South? Because that has been my sort of perception of it. Like, you have these oppressed communities, and then the people who are odd are really odd. They're like the ones that are way off in the corners.
Yeah, that kind of worked. That kind of worked for us.
That always felt like Birmingham or Tuscaloosa the times I passed through there myself.
Yeah, that's that era there was kind of bad because you didn't have all this instant video and everything, and we got somebody to videotape with one of those big clunky cameras from back then, from the one that cut you, part of it, but he disappeared. It was somebody that had ripped off some equipment from the film department, and so we never got the footage.
Mm-hmm.
He said the footage wasn't any good.
Oh.
We never found
it anyway.
Yeah, he searched for it.
Yeah, I figured based on the year, it would have had to have been 3/4 inch reel-to-reel videotape, and I was like, somewhere on that campus, there's a box of reels. Wow. Nobody knows what they are. I tracked down people on the campus. I'm like, can you look around, just look in closets or the library or whatever, but nobody ever found it.
Someone's going to get a shot.
And I don't know what the Pataphysical Review, Fletcher Hayes must have gone away somewhere, because he probably would have filmed that.
Right.
So we didn't get to that. So that was a problem. But I thought he did pretty good.
Doug Newby's photos.
Yeah. We had a lot of photographer friends. Roger, the guy that played saxophone and oboe and a bunch of other instruments, was in there, who passed away a few years ago. Igor was a photographer. I mean, I had all help on all that stuff.
Janice.
Janice Hathaway. She's yeah, there's several of those. Yeah.
It's easy to see how you got away with doing one marching band 1 year. How did you do it?
There's, I don't know, there's a bunch of drunk fraternities and sororities. I don't know, we just kind of fit in there. We were much more sober than they were. But it just fit right in. Well, they were all doing all kinds of, they were still doing Fiji warriors and stuff, and they were still doing all that kind of stuff. It's kind of tasteless, even for 1970s, early 80s.
We should recognize the Genie's here also.
Well, that's Jeannie.
Any other questions?
Talk a little bit about that recording studio.
At the end?
At the end, it was really great.
Oh, yeah, that was in Chattanooga. Steve Hickman has a recording studio. It's somewhere in near downtown Chattanooga. Yeah, we recorded it in a real studio this time, so we got to do a lot of overdubbing and creative screaming and stuff.
I guess the question, what happened in the 30 years? Why did you stop singing?
I can't remember.
Your voice is amazing. It really is. And
Like,
it is, so it just.
no, I started, well, a lot of that happened with the shimmy disc. After they kind of stiffed a bunch of their artists, and at that time my whirly gigs were starting to sell, and they were actually paying me money. So I pretty much started it because of that. I started doing craft festivals, and that's it, instead of that. And there wasn't that much interest in it from a financial. I had to choose one thing or the other, so that's basically what happened. And the years add up.
Did Kramer at Shimmy Disc reach out to you? And how did he know about you?
Eugene oh yeah, that's right. Chadbourne was, Eugene Chadbourne, who had a band called Shockabilly, and he came through Tuscaloosa and used to play at the Chucker, which was a dive bar, but a lot of really good people played there. And Kramer was the keyboard player for that band of Shockabilly.
Oh.
And that's how I met him. But then later somebody suggested that. It was either David Greenberger of Duplex Planet in New York or somebody. I think Damien LaDonna knew him too. Mm-hmm. And I heard about that. And it was basically the guy that wanted to do it. I mean, the only label that.
Well, everything on that label, like Bong Water and the Dog Bowl and Half Japanese and all the other stuff, I always thought your stuff made the label work. Like, it was the thing that propelled the label. It was fantastic. He had you to thank for whatever success he had.
Well, that's good to know. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. But yeah, that's basically what happened. I mean, I just kind of got sour on that and did what I had a choice. I had a choice to do something else, so I did it. Didn't have to mess with that.
I recently we were showing the film in sort of upstate New York, and the person that was putting me up, we pulled out his collection of shimmy disc records because I've been wanting to find something that I saw. The whole purpose of the film being called Icepick To The Moon is that shimmy disc, the records all came with like a flyer insert that was sort of a catalog of other titles that are available from shimmy disc and titles coming soon. and one of the titles was Fred Lane, Icepick To The Moon. And it maybe even had a release date. And so for years, Fred Lane fans like myself, we thought that this album existed, and it was like this holy grail, and we just haven't found a copy yet, but we know it's out there. And that was why I wanted to call the film Icepick To The Moon, without knowing that there would eventually be an album called Icepick To The Moon. But when I was in upstate New York, we searched, this guy had a big collection of Shemidas records, and we searched through it, and we actually found a couple of the inserts where it was announced. And I was like, I wish I'd have had these when I was working on the film. But I left all that story out of the film anyway. So, yeah, that's why it's called that.
So when can we get Icepick To The Moon and on what label?
This summer. The label is Feeding Tube Records. Out of New York, I think.
It's Byron and Coley. I think that's his name.
Yeah, Ted Lee, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations, that was fantastic. I had 2 questions. One was, are you planning to perform in Tampa anywhere in the near future?
We're not planning it, but we could.
Possibly. Is there any way to maintain it on both of your email lists or something to discover your work? Or?
Yes, that's my wife.
If you go to the film's website, fredlanedoc.com, there's an email address to, I haven't really started a mailing list, but basically anybody that emails that address, I keep those emails handy. So when I need it to make a list, I'll have a bunch of addresses I'll already put on them. Yeah.
Now, out of all of the visual and 3D media you work with, album covers or paper shade, costumes and such, for the gigs. Out of all of those, do you have a favorite, or do you have a favorite maybe moment or any creation out of all of that tapestry?
Actually, I really like doing all of those 2 album covers. They were probably as much fun as doing Car Radio Jerome, but as far as just putting together and laughing and drooling.
How much thought did you put into composition, like once you got all the stuff on it, it looks like in a way it's not that, but how much did you spend in any of the compositions?
Just whatever would fit in the space. It was kind of looked like it was between that. It was done just with one of them I had put graph paper on, but the rest of them I just kind of slapped them all together. The new album cover back of it really looks slapped together.
I just remember there's some of them that have very particularly bold things. Like there's one that had some broad strokes, kind of like upper left corner, top right to the lower left, and that was off on that corner. And it was on balance. It just seemed like it wasn't all snap fashion.
Oh, I don't know. Hey man, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. No.
Question way back there.
Hey, is there any chance the first albums are going to be reissued?
Maybe. I hope so. Yeah. We're that same Feeding Tube Records was thinking about putting out the first 2. They're going to wait till and see what this other record does.
Do you have the master dance?
Have a what?
Do you have the master dance? Do they answer that?
I have one of them. Yeah.
Let's see, just back to the recording, was the recording scene material actually going to go onto the Icepick To The Moon pressing, or was that a recording session?
Oh no, that was that was a fake recording session, but because we would just oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I forgot you were here. Yeah, sure, yeah. No, it's not gonna be on there. We just got
I
the.
really like the editing in that scene with the.
Yeah, that was great.
You pretty much, the album was done when we shot that, right?
Yeah, it was already recorded.
And then I was just wondering about distribution, like what are your plans
we're working on the DVD right now. There's about 40 minutes of deleted scenes. It's really funny stuff that just wasn't necessary to tell the story, but it was funny and interesting. But so they're extras. Plus, you'll get to see the entire French Toast Man short film and the entire Alfred Jarry Pataphysics short film. And we're currently transcribing the film so that it'll have English subtitles. And once we're done that transcription, then we have to translate that transcription so that it'll have Pig Latin subtitles. I think it's the first, yeah. But the goal is to have that out hopefully sometime around the summer, hopefully around the time that the new album comes out. And then available for online ordering in the fall, like around Thanksgiving. And then sometime next year streaming. Just have to figure it out. I keep getting emails from distributors wanting to take a look at the film. I'm just like, I know you don't want this film. Like, it's just every time I get them, I read the letter. I'm like, this is a form letter. And every now and then they're from people I actually know, and I'm like, come on, man. You've been at film festivals where it's screened and you didn't even come see it. Like, you don't really want to see this film. So a lot of the distributors, I'm just kind of like, yeah, if you really want it, you'll make a second effort. But I'm happy to just self-distribute it, just because I know what it is and what to do with it. My last couple of films have been bought or picked up by distributors, and they all, for one thing, I never see a cent, but another thing, they all promise the same thing, which is they're going to get it on Netflix. And so far, none of my films have been on Netflix as far as I know. So I figured, well, I cannot put it on Netflix myself and cut out the middleman. So that's the plan. I'm going to cut out the middleman. Maybe we'll make money off this.
Oh boy.
Good to keep control over the distribution. I think there's something about if you have, if there's one distributor, then you can't have the international distribution that Netflix would give you.
Yeah.
So
I don't trust any. I don't know that they'll do anything with. My last couple of films, one was a documentary about bands, and I go to a lot of record stores where there's a shelf full of DVDs of documentaries about bands. I'm like, there's no reason that film shouldn't be on that shelf, and I rarely ever see it. I do see it on streaming services all the time, like Prime and Hulu and Snag Films. But it's just amazing. Like, I've never gotten any checks for all the sales that I know they've been racking up. Maybe someday I'll get a lawyer.
Is your next project 20 years in the making?
No, it's going to be a year in the making.
Good.
And I start shooting it on Monday. So.
Yes.
Wow. I actually don't know it'll be a year in the making, but that's the plan, is to just shoot for a year, and then a year from now I'll start editing it and see what I have. Yeah.
I have an artistic process question for both of y'all. So in more traditional artistic mediums, there's this process of an idea comes up, you have more ideas, you discard some of them. But for something like this that's so imaginative, for something for Dadaism or absurdism or anything like that, there must be a million ideas. And how much harder must it be to sort through all of those? Can y'all talk a little bit about the process of, it's hard enough when you don't have an infinitely imaginative number of ideas to sort through. What is that like?
I don't know, it's just every day I just got all this garbage everywhere, and I keep the certain stuff, and I save other stuff for later, and sometimes it's hard to tell which is which. So I don't know what I'm saying. Oh, there.
I just wanted to thank everybody for coming. We are sort of running out of time in
Oh, okay.
terms of the venue. But it's
running out of stuff.
really, really wonderful having you, and thank you so much for being here and presenting your work, and thank everybody for coming. And maybe if we had any more conversation, we could do that